All right. Herald van der Linde, head of Asia Equity Strategy at HSBC, is now joining us. Herald, great to have you with us here on the program. Thanks very much. I mean, actually, it's great to have you with us, particularly because you are an India bull. I mean, you're you're sitting, you've got a bird's eye view of the region, and you like India particularly. And we've avoided the worst of this pullback. So I was just mentioning the Nasdaq is down almost 10%. India is down less than 3%. So people are looking at, as someone yesterday said and put it well, the structural story and avoiding the near-term macro worries, etc. Do you think that will continue, Herald? What's your best sense?
Yeah, I know. I think the macro headwinds will continue actually a little bit longer. Although maybe most of the market response to this we've seen over the last couple of weeks already. What is the problem? The US remains very strong. Inflation is coming down, but not fast enough. It means interest rates might have to stay a little bit higher than what initially is anticipated. You guys have been talking about that. Bond yields go higher and the dollar is therefore stronger. And we think that the dollar can remain strong until the end of this year. So that's not good for Asian equities in general. But what you now see is that the higher yielding currencies and the equity markets where the structural story is simply a little bit better, they perform better. Actually, Indonesia is the other one, and of course India as well. And this is why we are Indian bills at the moment. Will continue to do so. The only problem I have a little bit is that India. We were positive on India, say at the beginning of the year when it was coming down, and we said we're willing to deal with that pain because we think it's a good medium-term story, and that's worked out. But it looks like everybody likes India now. And we see very early signs that some of the gem fund managers are moving some money from India into China. And that's a risk, and we need to keep an eye on that for India. It doesn't worry me too much. It's just a short-term tactical issue we've got to keep an eye on.
Okay, so you're the second person in the last 2 days saying that in the next couple of months, I think money is going to move out of India and into China. But perhaps that's expected. But in the medium term, if one wants to sort of reallocate, right, their money into equities, given that we have the interest rate cycle moving higher, given that there are issues like higher Brent crude prices, the dollar is at a 10-month high, do you think India may, as a market, move to the back burner now? Where do your own preferences lie, say, for the next 6 to 12 months?
No, for 6 to 12 months, my preference is still for India. So I'm not overly worried about this. And I think the Asian funds, so people that are really dedicated on Asia, they're not really moving the money out of India into China yet. It's globally emerging market funds that do that a little bit. But it's really on the margin. That's because some policy responses come through in China. Some of the numbers have come through a little bit better than expected as well. So I think it's a marginal issue. I don't think that puts India really on the back burner. The thing is that it just comes at high valuations, right? So for a lot of people say, well, on the margin, maybe I should put some money into China because India is expensive already. So that is the case. But if I look at a 6 to 12 month basis, India is one of the better growth stories across the region for all the reasons that we've spoken about in the past. You've got an investment cycle, you've got a consumer cycle going on, and these sort of things. Indonesia is the same. You got decent yields if you invest in the currency there. So that provides support to the currency. So there's a lot of positive things going on that makes us believe that this rotation is not going to be derail India in that sense.
Hi, Herald. Good morning. I recall the last time around you said that maybe the world is a little bit over-pessimistic on China, which could result in near-term flows moving to China. Though you said that if the funds move there, then it's a good opportunity to get into India. So I recall that when we last chatted. But, what about the Fed? Well, how are you viewing Fed action from here on? The data has come in a little bit soft, at least overnight. And also you have a potential US shutdown. Could that, make the Fed push that rate hiking that you're talking about in November, say by a month or so, and then we don't see that rate hike, which the equity markets are fearing?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. We spoke about what is it, a month ago or so. I think we spoke about Chola at the time as well. And that is correct. So that on the margin, things could improve in China a bit, and that could take some of the shine off of India. And that's exactly what we've seen. But I would take that as a buying opportunity than anything else. So that view still stands. What my view has changed to a certain extent, you could argue, is that it does seem that the story in the US with regards to the interest rate story, bond yield story has changed. That remains a little bit higher for longer than what we initially, say, a couple of months ago anticipated. And that means the dollar is therefore stronger. So the general headwinds remain pretty much in place. So yeah, we'll have to see what the Fed is going to do. Sometimes people ask us and say, well, what do you think is the tipping point for the Fed? When are they going to talk about lower interest rates? Is there an easily identifiable catalyst? And I don't think there is one. But what we will see is that some weaker data might start to come through that suggests that the economy is responding negatively to the higher interest rates. And then suddenly the sentiment can change quite quickly. And before you know it, people say, oh my God, in 2024, the Fed is going to cut interest rates. And then we'll be talking about the speed at which they're going to cut. So we're very close to that tipping point, I believe, in Fed talk.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Herald, for joining in. Appreciate your thoughts here on CNBC TV18. And of course, we'll keep speaking to you through the course of the next many months. That's the word coming in. Yes, go ahead.
Can I congratulate you? Because I believe, I don't know how big a thing this is, but the Indian women's cricket team has won gold in the Asia Games. I know cricket is really big. I don't know how women cricket is in India. I've only played cricket once in my life, and I happen to be in India. But I thought I'll extend a congratulations to you all for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Herald. It's a big thing for us here in India. Of course, women's cricket is not as big as men's cricket just yet. But I think it's just a matter of time before it gets there. But thanks a lot for the congratulations.